嗨，大家好，这里是大波胡。在当地时间11月17日，北京时间11月18日凌晨，微软模拟飞行官方举行了一场 QA 直播。在节目中公布了有关世界更新第7弹和系统更新第8弹的一些预告。那么我们先来看一下总结，在总结之后是本次直播节目的全程转播，其中有部分信息是大波胡的实时翻译，感兴趣的朋友可以看到最后。今天几个重要的内容啊，一个是，首先一点，他们没有说，但从目前的情况来看是，下个月是没有更新的，或者说即便有更新也是小更新、修 bug 什么的，就是真正的内容更新是不存在的。我先记一下这个，12月份是没更新。这个知道了解美国民俗的朋友应该也能猜出来，12月美国人不干事了，大家都懂。然后就明年了，明年上来的第一件事是1月21号要更新澳大利亚，然后只有澳大利亚，没有新西兰。然后航拍城市会比以往要多，但多少个不知道，反正他们说法是会很多。然后随澳大利亚更新会有一个当地传奇的飞机，就是上次德国更新的时候那个荣52就是那个意思。然后这次的更新是叫Charles Kingsford Smith 爵士他飞过的那架Southern Cross 就是南十字星的那架福克 F7， 是那一架独特的福克 F7， 他们会做那架。是1月25号应该是卖，但多少钱不知道。我估计这价应该最多不会超过20美元，或者说10美元可能也可以，因为那架飞机，因为如52是15是吧？这个卖15可能都说不过去那种。这只是猜了，现在他也没公布。然后这架飞机会自带一个任务没明说是什么，但我估计跟这个这个飞行员有一定关系。然后是PMDG 确认和 Asobo 展开合作了，然后下周 DC6 会进市场，这个进市场就是意思就是 Xbox 那边也能买到的。PC 版这边很多玩家应该已经都开到了那个 DC6， 是60美元的，反响是很不错的一架飞机，只不过那个飞机很老，我估计可能不是和很多人胃口，是一个4螺旋桨的大号飞机，很老了。但是和 PMDG 合作的并不只是 DC6，跟踪过他们新闻的玩家应该都知道 PMDG 正在做737，这个737应该会做完之后会直接上市场，不会再拖了，直接就进游戏的市场，应该就直接可以买。然后但是这次没有说时间，他们 PMDG 是不打算承诺任何时间，只是说会有这个事情。737之后，然后他们又说了一嘴，后面还会有747，再之后是什么就不知道了。然后是还有一个合作方叫 FlightSim Studio， 这个是明天的更新里面有几个机场是他们做的，但重点不在这儿。这家工作室明年会来做滑翔机，但这里有一点啊，就是他们直播时也提到了，就是滑翔机对气动的要求是比现在要高很多的。他们已经开始决定做滑翔机的话，可以完全证明现在气动是没有问题的。然后其他的还有一些细节，一个最大的一个对于咱们来说最大的一个事儿是中文版确定会在系统更新第8弹，然后目前的时间安排上估计是2月份。1月份是世界更新第7弹澳大利亚，2月份是系统更新第8弹。目前知道的2个事儿是中文版以及市场会更新，但更新成啥样不知道。最后还有一个比较有用的信息是超级大黄蜂可以做眼镜蛇机动，这 这是他们官方说这个气动模型是存在的，可以做出来，明天可以试一下。
Hello, hi everyone. Welcome to another edition of our live Dev Q&A. We are so glad to see everyone here. We have a great show today, I guess we'll call it. My name is Jane. I am the community manager for Microsoft Flight Simulator. And below me, we have our three hosts here. We have York Newman. Hey York, how are you?
Super happy to be here.
Yes, we are as well. And we also have
喂，声音怎么样？声音怎么样？
And Marcel Passard.
Hello, happy to be here.
We are very excited for the stream today. We want to say that we have some guests today from all over the world, eclectic bunch. We're really excited to introduce a little bit later. And for the stream, it is November. This is going to be our last Dev Q&A of the year. We're going to give our hosts here a break in December and come back strong in January. So there's a lot to go over though, so I think we should just go ahead and jump right in. So we're going to switch here to the slideshow. York, I know you have a lot you want to start with to kick it off.
Hi everybody, super happy to be back. Let's look at the first slide.
Alright. There we go.
Game of the Year! It's here, it's coming out tomorrow, and we all really hope that you will enjoy it. We had some of you join the flight, we had some press in there, and it seemed like everybody had a really great time, which is great to see. And it was funny because some people said, Game of the Year, what? We actually won quite a few Game of the Years, and we just won another one. I just wanted to shout out to Benelux. We got a best game of 2020-2021 from Tweakers, which is a tech site, which is pretty awesome. And then just yesterday we got
他们还真拿了一些年度游戏奖啊。
we got from the Game Awards, we got another nomination for Best Sim and Best Strategy Game. Alongside Age of Empires 4, which is kind of interesting for us here at Microsoft, but yay, we got another nomination, which is really great. So anyways, if you go to the next slide, this is really just, I wanted to say that again, this is just meant as a thank you. That's why it's free, and that's why we just want to say thank you for the awesome support, for all your feedback, and fundamentally that you make us better. And so hopefully you enjoy it starting tomorrow.
基本就是感谢所有人。
Next slide.
雷诺竞赛。
Tomorrow, we also Reno is coming out. We've also been flying this. Some of you were able to join us, and you saw how much fun it really is. I got pinged by, we have 40 pilots that we work with. I got pinged by like 12, 13 or so in the last few days, and they all really say just how awesome it is, and it's very, very close to reality and how much they love it. So something cool coming your way, 40 unique planes.
他们找来了40个真的非竞赛的飞行员。
Hopefully you like it. And then David also made a feature discovery series video to go a little bit deeper into this. And that is launching today, whenever Jane actually launches it. But it's done and it's really interesting.
Right after the stream, we'll say.
Yes, so we are ready to roll tomorrow, and we really hope to see you.
现在的游戏那几个A320和我先看这片。
Some of you, because you pay attention, saw that we actually skipped the world update. We were thinking
对，过去2个月没有世界更新，所以下个世界更新是啥？
So busy with the game first was Xbox, then was the Game of the Year edition, and we know it's a ton of work. So we basically said, let's skip one, and we'll bring out World Update 7. It's coming out on January 25th. And drum roll.
1月21号，澳大利亚。
Australia. And as always,
根本你说那个问题，那个现在的 A320和747是没有客舱的，所以做不出来。但是其他的飞机是有那个客舱是能做出来的。他妈的卡了呀！不行，我换个方式播。稍等一下。
The big maps team had a ton of city data. So we are busy crunching photogrammetry data right now. We don't quite know yet how many cities we can have, but we prioritize them. And the one thing I'm pretty sure if it's going to be more 3D cities than we've had probably in any other world update, which is neat. And so next. We launched that with
航拍城市数量现在不定，只是说有很多。当地传奇会是谁呢？
And these planes are really meant to show something in the displays of the world. So we did a bunch of research, and we basically decided this is the right thing to do.
他是开啥的？就是当地传奇是世界更新的时候的那个当地的飞机。
Is the most famous pilot, most famous aviator in Australia. He did this, the first transatlantic flight back in 1928. He did a bunch of other cool things, and he's famous there. You can see it in the next slide. He made it to the $20 bill in Australia, at least the old one that was in circulation in 1994. And next slide. And you can, and for all this, we try to partner with people who are in region and who know the planes, because ultimately we end up talking quite a bit with local either manufacturers and, or in this case, museums. So we have a new development partner, which is not really a new development partner. And the next slide is...
对 Orbix 是澳大利亚的。
Why? Well, Orbix is in Australia. How about that? And we have a guest. So I'll stop talking.
Yeah, so if you want to turn your camera on.
但飞机是哪个也没说呀。
All right.
Hello.
Thanks so much for joining us, Anna. We're really excited to be partnering with you on the local legends too. So we'd love to learn more about this plane that's coming.
Yeah, so hi from Australia, indeed down under. Yeah, the plane. So the plane is a very historical piece for Australian aviation. So, like Jorg was saying, Keith Smith is known as Smith. He was an aviator and broke a number of
这是谁能看出来？我看不出来。
did the first trans-Pacific flight, which is all described in this book, which I don't know if you can see the camera probably disappearing. And the Southern Cross is actually the original. So you saw the original plane, which what's in the picture is actually a replica that is kept in Shell Harbour. The original plane is in the Brisbane airport, and he flew with that from Auckland, California, into Brisbane, taking about 10 days. So come across the Pacific, and yeah, that's it. This is the picture of the monuments that they've done. It's encased into a glass museum in the Brisbane Museum.
现在这架是博物馆里的，当时是刚才那个飞行员真的飞的这架是跨太平洋的。
I went inside the replica last landing year, kind of snapped wing, and it's been restored for the last 15 years, and it's probably going to fly again in January or February next year. So it's a very big moment. So yeah, Smith was a bit of a figure. He actually eventually developed a fear of heights and essentially flying across big stretches of water, and he died quite young when he was, I think, 38 or so. Over the flights, never to be really recovered. So you can see here some of the, obviously, some pieces still missing of this plane, which is rendering that in steam. We've got a team a little bit all over the world developing this, with Elise leading the charge on this one from the UK, Rusted and Paul, Rob Smith, I think Aaron, Carl. I think I covered just about everybody. So we should have that ready real soon. We've got the original cockpit pictures, but we probably have got 2 different cockpits, and we're going to do one with the instruments that you can actually fly today, and one with the
飞机的机型是叫这个。
Very quickly, when they did this trans-Pacific flight, there were 4 of them, and the pilots were sort of divided from the navigator. And the 12 at the front and the back, so separated by the big fuel tank, and they were passing notes to each other for a stick. So all of these navigation instructions were kind of a stick, and it was the first time that they actually had to fly just with instruments, because before that, it was never done. So they had to cross a big thunderstorm and just do instrument on flying, which was the very first time. So very dangerous. They landed twice in Hawaii and Fiji. So fantastic story. So we definitely go back into the into this.
Yeah, well, so thank you, Anna. I mean, I'm super excited about this plane. I mean, first off, I think we started off well with Junkers. This is another one of those awesome planes. We have a lot more to say. We're focusing today on the Southern Cross. There's going to be some other things we're gonna talk about. And then the mission that Anna was just talking about, we had said, and you have asked for, can we get the missions that some of these planes are famous for? And we're going to do that. So starting with this one, we're going to have basically the famous missions of the local legends will be present. And we're also working on a manual. That was the other big request that came out of the Junkers. I think everybody liked the plane, but those are the things people are like,
这次飞机直接会带个任务以及手册，都会直接带的。
So at the same time, January 25th. So thank you so much, Anna.
No problem.
飞机是1月25号出，世界更新是1月21号，飞机1月25号。
Next.
新的合作伙伴。
I can't tell you how happy this makes me to talk about a third-party partner. We've been talking to this particular individual since way before we started, before we launched, and his plane is the first plane is now finally coming to the marketplace. Yes, and on Xbox and it's Robert.
Wait, what?
Well, hello and greetings from PMDG HQ just outside of Washington, D.C. So, Jorg, you and I have spent an awful lot of time talking face to face. This is the first time we've.
他们要干什么？把计算器拿过来吗？
A couple of things for you first. I'm intrigued by Anna describing navigating by passing notes on a stick. We operated a DC-3 across the Atlantic a couple of years ago, and fortunately it didn't involve any of that. But I'm a vintage airplane nut, so I'm looking forward to seeing that product come out. Awesome. But I'm also excited about your Reno product, and the reason why, and I'm not sure you knew this, but I have a couple of items for show and tell. So this is my SNJ-6, which is a navalized version of the T6. And this right here is Gordo Sanders, whose airplane you have.
Yes, there it is.
And I want to point out that we are ahead of Gordo, and this was taken about 3 seconds before we won this, and it says first place on it right there. So Gordo did not win that year. But anyway, Team PMDG, we raced an SNJ in Reno for a bunch of years when I lived out west.
他们是飞过里诺的人。
Looking forward to that add-on. So here on my desk, I have my good luck charm today. This is a DC-6, and we are what, a week away now, Jorg, from finally getting the DC-6 into marketplace. It's the first.
是把那个 DC6 拿过来。
I lost track of the count. I think we've got 14 products now in the pipeline for marketplace, including the 737.
这架 DC6 存在有2-3个月了吧已经。然后跟 PMDG 合作的一个内容就是把这个 DC6 放进市场里。哦，计算器也会来。还有747。
There's another product line that's coming along, and we'll talk more about that a little bit later. So, but it's been a long road. I am a Generation 0 simmer. I started with flight simulation back in
等于就是 PMDG 应该是737开始的飞机都会同步登陆市场吧？应该是这个意思。没有明确说，但我觉得应该是这个意思。
Since 1992, so next year will be 30 years that I've been doing this, and next year, interestingly, will be 25 years that PMDG is doing this, and that really makes me feel a little bit old. And so, one other thing I want to, I do want to correct you on one small detail. You mentioned the DC-6 being my airplane, and it's not my airplane. The DC-6 is PMDG is a team. The development for the DC-6 was led by Chris Powell, and he was backed up by Henning and Jason and Vin, and all the rest of the team had bits and pieces here and there. So it's really a team effort, and we are just incredibly excited to have it in marketplace starting next week. So 737 is going to...
DC6 是下周进市场。
Oh, and I think the audio dropped out, so you might have missed the date that it's going to release. But that one's coming too.
737的发布时间没有说。
Got it.
Never admit dates.
I foolishly gave dates earlier. I was like, oh, I'm sure Marcial like, yo, don't do it.
No, never admit.
基本意思就是下周官方市场里会有 DC6， 追摩飞新闻的朋友应该都知道这架飞机做的非常好，但是很贵，做的确实好，但是很贵。然后737开始 PMDD 的飞机都会同步进市场，应该是这个意思。
And so delighted that you're here, Robert. Thank you.
Yeah, we you know, and I my primary
当然这里我们玩 PC 的可能影响不大，这影响最大的是 Xbox 那边。这个举动就是说明 Xbox 那边也能直接是用到 PMDD 的东西了。737说了。737开始应该是同步进市场的，但是737的时间没有说。没有，更新是明晚，现在 PMDD 那边那个说话那个人，他刚才意思就是737的时间他不会说的，不要问他，他不会说的。
Super.
但这个合作基本就是说，737应该就是同步进游戏市场，然后 PC 和 Xbox 都会有，应该是这个意思。价格应该是很贵了 ，PMD 这东西不会便宜就是。
Yeah, go ahead, read them out. I'm not seeing that.
No problem. We'll wait for some to come in. If there's any. Britain DC, can I come by and visit?
You know, we actually do occasionally have folks wander into, you know, the DC-3 lives out in Manassas, Virginia, and occasionally folks will wander in there when we're out there. So if you happen to be out at the Manassas airport and you see the airplane out, come over and say hello. We always love to show the airplane off to people.
V2 says
我看一下现在那个 DC-6多少钱啊？
Well, right now the fact that we are, you know, we're working with an entirely new flight model.
还好。
You know, we have a process.
DC-6是$60，价格还可以的。
Very comfortable working with that process. And Microsoft Flight Simulator is a new platform. It comes with entirely new tools, entirely new capabilities, and learning to work with those and change the methodologies and the approaches that we take to solving problems. That's really the hardest part.
价格还可以。
You know, when you if you think about it, you know, it's very much akin to if you drive in the United States and you're used to getting in on the left side of the car and driving on the right side of the road, and then you go to the UK and you get on the right side of the car and drive on the left side.
应该不会贵过100。
That's kind of what we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. Another question here is, how are you faring with the SDK?
It's getting there. There's been a lot of conversation back and forth between PMDG and Asobo, where we're sort of highlighting areas that maybe aren't clear to us in the SDK and Asobo.
有关 SDK 的问题 ，PMDG 这边主动跟 Asobo 去完善。 就是 PMDG 这边做东西的时候，应该发现很多现在做不了的，就直接跟 Asobo 说。
But it's coming along, and the nice thing is it's not just about us. It's about all of the developers who, like PMDG, have been in the marketplace before. We're all sort of collaborating with Asobo to make sure that we get the tools we need to succeed. And I think we're really going to start to see those shine as we move into 2022.
Awesome. Thank you for that answer. Yeah.
I saw one earlier. Like, what are the differences between the PC version and the Xbox version?
Well,
PC 和 Xbox 版有没有区别
DC6 specifically, there are none. That is one of the things that
DC-6的 PC 和 Xbox 版没区别。
disagreed upon pretty strongly in the very beginning, but I think over the next couple of weeks we're going to see that plays out fairly well. Having a unified development process that can play on both platforms it's going to be easier for us to support. It's easier for Microsoft to work with. It does create some challenges for us on the development side, and that speaks back to those new methodologies and things that we're working on. But ultimately, from a developer standpoint, folks are often surprised to hear me say that I'm excited about the Xbox side of things. And
具体到现在为止，具体是没有说的。
And it allows gamers who may be interested in airplanes.
但那个从 Fly-by-Wire 那边反馈，基本上现在最大的问题是那个天气雷达。 天气雷达的数据是不共享的，所以飞机拿不到。
percentage of Xbox users into simmers, that makes for a much more vibrant marketplace, and that benefits all of us.
气动说实话，现在的所有第三方团队对游戏的气动是很满意的，跟你讲。
The version on the marketplace will have some liveries embedded in it, and we've done that specifically because Xbox users won't have the benefit of using
Xbox 版会自带一些涂装。
So when you buy directly from us, you grab the operations center, you can install whichever liveries you like. It's very
不应该说 Xbox 版，从市场里买都会带涂装。
Some of those liveries will come pre-installed specifically for the use of the Xbox community. And if you
这个影响最大的还是 Xbox 那边 ，Xbox 那边没法装涂装。对，现在那些第三方对游戏的气动非常满意的。现在不满意的只是口口相传的玩家们。
Thank you for having me. I gotta get back to work on the 737 before the rest of
People already wrote the ship date down.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.
关键你要明白一点，现在的气动，游戏内的气动是和 SDK 版本绑定的，也就是说，飞机得自己去更新，并不是说游戏更新好之后，飞机会自动优化。你得就是做飞机的那些团队得自己去更新气动去。Asobo 会一直在完善游戏的引擎嘛，但是这些完善结果不是会直接反映到飞机上，是飞机的制造商得再手动更新一遍，是这么来的。
We looked at this briefly. We hadn't had a deep conversation, but now that we are through all this, we are going to look at this in the coming weeks. So we're going to give an update next time. And on the next point, Seb.
So helicopters, yeah. So I think
直升机上个月说了很多，这次还说。基本上来说 ，Asobo 这边就是他们的就是管模拟核心这边的都是管 SDK 的，就是 SDK 更新之后，相当于 SDK 有各个版本。你可以这么想，这如果他真的是说是只要动游戏本身，所有东西都要改，那每次更新东西全完蛋，想都不用想。现在正在讲直升机，直升机这个上个月讲了很多，这个回来我也总结一下，我应该是最近会有个总结明年的东西，会有总结。直升机上个月讲的非常多。
Sometimes it may be just compatible right away. Sometimes there may be some work to adjust the propeller settings. But overall, it's pretty close anyway. And so first step in progress, and it's going forward well.
他现在说的有一点就是直升机气动，他们Asobo 的意思就是他们要。
I think they are targeting the end of January to be done. So we're shipping the Chinese with Sim Update 8, which is coming currently, anyways.
中文版会在下次系统更新。
And then last time, I read in the chat.
应该是2月份。
After the last meeting, quite a few people have said, "Hey, can we talk about multiple screens? You didn't talk about it again." So I think this time we have a lot more to say. And Marcel is going to talk.
Yes, we're working on it. Alain Vier, or Lead Tech, is working on that feature. Well, I won't say right now because it's a bit late for us. So hopefully it's out now. He's working on the features, and after that we'll have to check everything related to multi-screen and widescreen, including the FOV, all the UI that comes with it. But it has been started, and we hope that we will be able to provide the features in 2022.
Yeah, then I think, Jane, I at least lost the... here it goes. Replay, yeah. So somebody was saying, hey, this hasn't changed in a while. Well, we started a bunch. You can see it here. And obviously Sim Update 7 is upon us tomorrow. So the next 3 are actually coming with Sim Update 7. So the replay system, as we had said, you're getting the same tools that the video team at Asobo is using to make trailers. So that should be pretty cool. That said, it's not the slickest UI ever, right? So we're actually looking forward to feedback. And then the next point, Seb, back to you, DX12.
Yes, so Sim Update 7, which is coming tomorrow, features a new option in the graphics option menu. Normally, you now start with DX11 and you can switch it to 12.
现在录像和 DX12这个就是我视频里说那些，现在没有新消息，没有新的点，都是我的视频里说的是一样。
The goal here right now is just to have a test and make sure it works everywhere. We have done a lot of testing. We think everything is working. Performance-wise, so there's some good news. So we've started to do some measures. There will be potential for improvements. It's not yet faster. I mean, the current version on my machine was 10% more efficient on CPU, but a little bit slower on the GPU. And so overall, you don't see really the difference. And sometimes it may even be slower on the GPU. But that's just because of the very first implementation right now. We found a lot of potential on GPU optimizations, which will add on top of the CPU optimizations. So I would say over the next months and updates.
他们现在说的就是我视频里说，把他们音量调小点。PMDG 他们的那个，也可以说是接近于学习级别了，就是 study level。基本上模拟飞行的能到这个级别的，都是100美元左右价格的。学习级别的话，像我们这些人应该都用不到。就你就想象一下 A320 里的那些跳线，你能点掉，你会用吗？你不会用它。
And you can choose when the logbook is displayed, starting with Simulated 7.
SU7 把那个日志给修正。
Yeah, and the next continuity gateway. Remember last time we talked about, hey, we were looking for a dev. Well, we found one. Yay! So this work is now kicking off.
地景 gateway 到底是啥？我回来研究一下。
We now have the resource, so it's coming. Good news. And then I don't know if we want to gliders. Oh yeah, airports. Oh yeah, Kai just wrote us a long email. We just discussed it. I mean, we know there's lots to be discussed on improving AI traffic at airports and in the air.
AI traffic
You think it's great. Thank you, and we will use this as a.
最近那个 Orbx 和 AIG 都做了那个强化空中交通的插件嘛，然后现在整个讨论这方面的会非常多，就借这个机会又讨论一下。然后现在 Asobo 内部正在搞这个 AI 交通的一些修正。
The add-on that Airsoft just put out seems cool, so more to be said about this one. Korean subtitles were said are coming. I actually don't know exactly. I think it's in the fall next year, and maybe that's enough. And I just wanted to go.
韩文版是明年秋天。
The live Q&A, which would be a shame. But Jane, I just wanted to say something 2 slides from now.
Yes, absolutely. And here we go.
Yeah. So,
yes, this is the one. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, so Jane asked us. So she obviously is your voice, right? She speaks to us quite a bit about these things, and she said, "Hey, if this thing is from August 2020 when we first launched, should we just remove this?" And I actually think the answer is no, because are there crashes in the sim still? Yes, there are. They're completely different ones, and they were obviously back in August 2020. But we want to keep it up there. As a matter of fact,
正在讲闪退的事儿。
exactly what's happening.
基本就是说，开发团队知道那些东西。
We get lots of telemetry, exactly how stable everything is, where things are breaking, and we're going to publish this starting in 2020, maybe with some update 8, because the team is now going to fix a bunch of bugs. Right?
你说的慢指的是
like month and a half or whatever. But after that, you will see in more detail what our stability is. It's not good enough, and we know that. So just know that I don't want to keep this at the number 1 spot.
哎，佳明航电有时间了。
Until we all say this is really stable now.
哦，这时间也跟没有一样，明年上半年。
The other things we already discussed last.
汉化刚才说了，2月份会上，这个已经定了。
Yeah. Oh, Peter has a question. I don't know if you know this, but he says, how many of the CTDs are hardware related? Do we have like a good?
说到这个汉化，我那天想到一点，他们做这么慢，有一个原因，
I don't have the exact numbers.
就是官方的所有飞机的所有的说明全得要翻译，并不是说只翻译游戏界面，他们要这么干。如果只翻译游戏界面的话，不可能会做这么久。
And unfortunately, there's a fair amount which says that it's not in our code. And so this means it can be a driver, it can be in the system somewhere. And it doesn't mean that it's necessarily a problem with the driver or system. It can be something we do wrong. But when it's not in our code, all we know is that it's not in our code, and we don't know exactly what is happening. And
现在正在讲这个闪退这些问题，跟硬件软件都有什么关系？
add-ons or something which are not
说实话就是复读，
so in theory, we
你
should
不用管。
not crash. So we're going to try to fix all these and maybe display an error.
对，你就想一下
crashing.
787先不说，你像 A320的那些
Like when the app exits.
按钮说明那些检查单有多少，一大堆呢。
And unfortunately, a lot of
它作为这个
crashes are extremely rare
官方提供的东西，他们是真要做汉化的，直接全要搞掉的。
and can't sim at all.
你可以这么想。
And the problem is we need to also go look at the list down there of the rare crashes. Yeah.
We've got the process at the we've got somebody at the QA, Steve. Steven.
说到这个，直播之后我开一下日文版，我看看到底是不是我说这个问题啊？我刚才只是猜的，我只是脑子里有这个想法，一会儿我确认一下，我开日文版确认一下。现在是有日文版的。
We're trying to isolate the bugs with the most occurrences, and we have started to tackle the most frequent ones, and now it's very hard to identify because it's very specific. You know, this sim can be used in lots of ways, different ways. We can have lots of different hardware, so sometimes
现在还在讲闪退的，这些闪退这些没事，说实话没什么讲。先跟你说一下，刚才想跟你说的就是，刚才不讲直升机嘛？说直升机的时候，他们提到一点就是。 你可以看，现在已经有很多第三方的直升机出现了，但是那些都是利用水平翼来模拟直升机，就是你能飞而已，就是它那个螺旋桨的气动是假的，不存在，只是你能飞。然后 Asobo 他们做直升机的目标是要模拟螺旋桨的物理原理，所以他们的要做1年，是这么来的。
No, I mean we're gonna. I mean, look, we update this every week, right? So we're gonna take a hard look.
然后他们说的点就是，既然是做螺旋桨的物理模拟，那么这个直升机做完之后，游戏内所有的螺旋桨都会更新。然后刚才开发人员提到一点，就是我刚才跟你说的，就是这个更新会反映到 SDK 里。 并不是直接反映到游戏的基本代码上，所以第三方的飞机得自己再去更新一遍，拿过来用，就是这么来的。又有合作方，你到底拿过多少个？
We were looking for the right development partner, so we looked quite for a good long time, and we found a team that we think we have confidence in, we can collaborate well with, and I just wanted to introduce them today. We have another guest.
这次会是谁呢？
Drum roll. If you want to turn your video now on, Morten, awesome.
Yes.
又是偏不是。
Welcome.
哦 ，Flash Sim Studio， 他们呀。
Yeah, thanks for having me.
我想想他们是谁啊？想想啊。
Definitely. My name is Martin, and I'm the project manager at Flight Sim Studio in Basel.
哦，他们是做机场的，做机场的。
Company you never heard of before, for a good reason, because we have been in the background in the past doing some sim development to suppliers. And
这次年度游戏版里有几个机场就是他们做的。
Yeah, and so we are very excited about this.
但是具体是哪个我忘了。
Is a passion for us, especially for me personally, because I did my glider license back 15 years ago or something. in a major glider
正在讲话的这个人是
and
真的会开滑翔机。
and it's like a different world of aviation. It's magic, but of course, every part of the aviation is some kind of magic. But yeah, we stick together a team of very experienced people from different aspects. We have very good software developers with aviation background. We have the glider pilots like me and others. We have a lot of flight instructors. Actually, one who's flying like every day.
他们团队里有很多真开飞机的呀，那不只是做机场来的。
competitions and all that kind of stuff. And we are also cooperating with some, pretty well-known glider schools that will help us out.
难道就让他们来做滑翔机吗？听这个意思。
So this will be a very exciting story. And although we might have never been in the public yet, a few important people are with us on board that you may heard of before. Some people from Aerosoft in Germany joined our team. We have some people from Starport, for example, from MailSoft. So we basically took the best people out there to bring the biggest competence and knowledge about developing for the sim, as well as having the experience about gliders and stuff. So this will be pretty interesting, and we aim to bring in the
不，那个2月份的直接是简体字，不是繁体，是简体。
feeling that you have when you're flying a glider, basically being in the nature. Like you're flying like a bird, basically, without any engine and sound. Just feeling the air and the beautiful scenery, where obviously the Microsoft Flight Simulator is pretty much the best platform you can have for that. But then on the other side, of course, there's some kind of thrill in it, right? Because I mean, you're in a glider, so you don't have the ability to add more thrust and then just take off again and do another round. So
现在正在讲开滑翔机的难度。
if you're in a glider, and this
毕竟你手头没动力，该怎么飞的问题。
flying, you need to think of where should I go and what can I do, and pressure is rising, right? So this is something we try to implement as well, so you can have either the relaxed side or the thrill to experience both, and then you'll have the great glider package all in all, and that's what we're aiming for. And the project is about to start. We are still in research, and we'll try to get you the best experience we can, and it will be a great journey for sure.
Well, thank you, Martin. I mean, this is going to be cool because it's code dev, right? Because it's so vast. Basically, a bunch of work to do on all kinds of things in the engine, right? We don't want to talk about tons of features today, but here we have some people really passionate about gliders.
然后你现在再想一下，真要做滑翔机，对气动要求是更高的，因为滑翔机是100%遵循气动原理的，它自己没有对齐的。
Thank you for joining. Thanks for working with us. Kind of cool.
Thank you. So yeah.
All right.
Okay. It's open Q&A time. Lots of questions. And I'm saying
所以你就这么想，他们已经开始做滑翔机了。
and talk about it.
这个游戏的气动是已经很好的，所以再有人说气动差，
Aspects of bush trips and when they will be repaired.
That's for me, but I was usually.
现在是公开问答环节，看看一会儿会有什么问题的。
Yeah, so we've got, I would say, some issues with bush trips, and the very first one was related to sales. So we've spotted issues thanks to the community feedback.
啊，这个很多玩家应该遇到的就是 bush trip， 就是乡间连飞的时候遇到很多 bug， 然后就飞不了了，这些问题。
but it's not the only bunch. It's not the only bugs.
然后明天的补丁里会有一些修正，但估计还会有 bug。
So that was brought by the fact that we've decided to isolate a bit more the legs and the bush trip because we had some issues with dependencies and UIs. But by doing that, we brought also some maybe some additional issues with with the way on how the bullshit was edited. So we've got to fix that.
我那天就见到一个，就是进联飞界面之后，直接在水里一点飞行，然后就判断成坠毁了，然后就直接飞不了。这个神奇的 bug。
Some additional polish, especially on the UI. I was very upset to see that the way we are drawing the path on the VFR map, for instance, has been smooth. Effect of some graphical components, and now the legs between when you're doing some navigations, they're not straight and it's not good. So we're going to tweak that for some of the details.
Awesome. And are we also working with like Bush Trip developers on the back end for the SDK?
Yes. So we've got we've got some entries in the forums, and we are trying to fix everything that has been reported there.
Oh, I mean, Dustin, some of the outside reached out to Thomas. From
Yes, Damien.
And Damien from Solo. So there's an active discussion going on exactly what. For example, that tool is cool. But there's some issues. So we are at least getting community feedback that is really actionable, and we're going to go fix all this.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks. I just saw a question in the chat, a Reno-related question, and that's: will the updated scenery of Reno State Airport be visible in the normal game or in the races?
So we flew a plane over Reno, right, like 4 months ago or 3 months ago now. To get the latest graphics, meaning the latest aerials.
就是还记得那个我做那个李诺讲解的时候，那个机场是更新的，让机场里有那个观众的那个。现在就问，这个版本是只有在竞赛里才有，还是世界地图上就有？
The airport, I'm sorry, the airport is the Reno pack because we have some technical dependencies there.
Yeah, we wanted to put it in the base sim, but it didn't work for a reason I don't really know. But we'll look into this.
现在其实说是那个，如果你没有买李诺包的话，那个机场是老的；如果你买的话，机场是新的。
Okay, very cool. All right. So, do we have plans for AI-based ATC with voice recognition?
这个问题好。
Yeah, we have some investigations into what's possible.
这个问要不要做语音识别的空管系统？
It's too early to really talk about it, but we are aware that it's possible.
然后说的答案是正在讨论，现在没有什么答案。但是以微软的技术站来讲，他们是能做出来的。 他们的技术是能力在，但是怎么做的，就是实际上是怎么做的问题。
When exactly it's coming, we can't say yet. We need to do some planning exercises. Like while the team is going to fix bugs for the next few months, we'll actually spend some time planning.
未来几个月都在修 bug， 这句话说的。
Thank you, New York. We have a question here. I don't know if the three of you will be able to answer this, but there's been a bug out for a little while with multiplayer planes disappearing, whether they're near or far, and that's kind of stopped some people like our Thunder flies from doing their formation flying, stuff like that. So they're wondering if we have any update on this bug or what kind of investigation is going into it.
So yeah, I've seen that on the stream chat, the number 22 bug. So I can tell you that we are aware of that. We know that we've got some issue with the sorting. One of the founders of Asobo, Connects, is getting nervous about that because, well, he's working on a plague. So it's not.
现在是一个估计很多人遇到的问题，就是AI 生成的飞机会莫名其妙的自己消失这个问题。
Some people are also asking for larger groups. So we've got some technical requirements for that. We've looked at the code and we think that we can open the group up to 8 people instead of 6. So we're going to.
另外一个问题是现在我是不知道啊，但是这么一说的明白，就是你要是组队的话，最多组6个人，他们打算提到8个人。
The criteria friends is not taking into account when we're doing the sorting. when it's up to multiplayer. So maybe that's something we should take into account for the future. So everything has to be rethought and fixed, obviously. So yes, I've seen number 22 bugs in the list. We're going to work on that. Since we're talking about multiplayer, there's also a thread on the forums talking about the integration of WhatSim or the equivalent of that, the iVow and some other services. So we've been talking with these guys, and we are still looking for opportunities to have better support on these services.
他们是打算把 WhatSim 的数据要连过来，然后你能在游戏里看到 WhatSim 上的东西。
Fantastic. Yeah.
Jane, I saw a few times now color banding. I think we should talk about it.
Sure.
Oh yes.
Hop to that one.
Yes.
There we go. All right, Seb, can you explain changes in Sim Update 5 that led to color banding, differences for many users on SDR monitors, and are they fixable?
Yes, since this morning, because overnight yesterday evening, someone finally found the issue. And it was one of the basically there's sort of graphics buffers which contain matrix transformations for color grading, and I think there's a few of them, and one of these was changed from 16-bit to 10-bit. Which in some cases
上个月讨论过，而且明天天气会大更新，所以明天再说吧。上个月讨论的结果就是我在视频里说的那些，就是现在那个版本里面，这个天气预报太旧，有时候都是半天之前的，所以很不准，这么来的。然后微软找了好几个数据提供方，然后把这个给修了。
For memory or performance or anything, right? It doesn't. I think it's just a change which got unnoticed. It's not extremely visible. A lot of times when we got people showing us the bug, the problem is that sometimes JPEG or YouTube or whatever MPEG also has its own banding, so you didn't really see the issue. But yeah, this week we got some pictures where it was very easy to see the difference.
这个问题应该就是有一些神奇的色彩还原不对的问题，我倒是没遇到过。
Integrating it into a bit, so not tomorrow, right? Obviously, because that's not in 7.7, but in the next update after that.
Great, that's great news. Really glad you're able to identify that bug, and thank you to the community for helping us get there. We really appreciate it.
而如果你遇到的话，这个 bug 如果你有谁遇到的话，可以说是他们已经定位到了，这正在修，但是明天的更新里是不会有的。但是他们已经定位到问题了。大黄蜂的问题。
We certainly work with Boeing. As you know, there's all kinds of ITAR-related things. So there's some limitations of what's in that. To the specific question, Martial, you're probably in a better position to answer that.
Well, to be honest, I haven't really followed this particular plane.
I've worked a little bit on the F-18. Some of it comes from what is, we have a team of plane designers who copied me only the pages of information needed, and it looked really like a POH, right? So I think there's definitely a POH, and a lot of the data comes from there. Stuff like, because it has a fly-by-wire, and so the roll rates are known and are precise. It has some nice new features. The F-18 is the first aircraft in the sim that uses that has an elevator. So I don't know how you call it, but the elevator helps to roll actually. It's like a
Wait, what? 用升降座来
which allows to make it super stable when you do the, how do you call it, when you do the Cobra or whatever, right? You fly really slow, you lift up the nose, and you're practically
F18可以眼镜蛇机动，回来明天可以试一下。
It would flip over, but because you have the elevator helping, it actually stays stable. And
刚刚说的啊，可以眼镜蛇机动。
It's got quite a few new features that weren't there before. And most of the data I saw, I think, comes from just the POH.
And tonight, it's like I'm going to say hi to a lot of people, and I would like to say hi to Royal, Microsoft, because he's a former Top Gun, and he was obviously a very good source of.
本来问的问题是问那个超级大黄蜂的那个机载电脑怎么样的问题，结果是说了这么多。那明天可以试一下，玩眼镜蛇机动。
Will supersonic flight in particular be available to third-party developers?
超音速启动，第三方能不能用的问题。
I would say yes. So yeah, the features we added are available to all planes.
这就是我刚才就是咱们俩之间一直说，就是Asobo 那边完成的系统会更新到 SDK， 然后第三方可以再利用 SDK 的更新完善自己的东西。然后这里说到的现在说到具体的是一个超音速启动。但超音速官方写的怎么样？明天就看吧。明天开超级大黄蜂可以试一下。现在那架 F14是没有超音速的，如果没记错的话，因为我没看这个 M 到1以上。
There's a button you need to press to get above, like up to 10. It's not unlocked by default, so it's important that people sign it if they want to. But at high G, we now have the high G buffeting, which is
有个细节，超级大黄蜂默认会锁到8个 G。
Will not go up to 9 or 10 Gs anyway. I think there's also the G blackout now, which has been added. There's a few new options for that.
但是如果你想是可以解锁的，只不过默认会锁到8个 G。
Turn on the G trousers, pants to compression pants. And there's a whole new bunch, and these are all available to all aircraft, right? So whether it's, I know the speed of the F-18 is quite accurate, so it just does it at sea level. It really just does Mach 1, but if you go up to 35,000, it does Mach 1.6. So you can go supersonic. The speed is accurate, and all the tools we use are available for.
刚才这段就是确认超音速启动是在的。
So it's something we should say again, but there is nothing Hasbro is keeping on its side. Everything we're doing in features, it's to expose that. So.
可以买了 F14的，可以期待一下他们更新。
It's in the base sim, so in the base sim we typically do not lock anything, so it should be moddable.
Great. Awesome. All right, let's move to one forum community question we have here. Will you be expanding the default multiplayer model types to be more representative of what's being flown in multiplayer?
Hey, what?
Yeah, we talked about this last time a little bit. Like it's still the same answer. We need to be careful with memory. So this, I think there's two pieces here, right? The
多人模式的问题。
What's your partner flying? Is
内
that the
存
same
占用。
So I think there's some bugs, honestly, that need to be looked at. But as far as the number of different models
损坏
you have, there's going to be some.
暂时可以不要想了。
But in general, I think
他们那
the
个
goal is
如果你
to have
撞东西
accurate aircraft.
是黑屏，
We
他们
just
是
need to
故
be
意的，
careful with memory.
他们是不能做损坏出来，是这个问题，是不能，不是不想。
Question for you. One moment. Just screen. All right. Are you guys aware of the issue where joystick input stops working when using free look with the mouse? It's prominent on Thrustmaster gear.
So I know that we are.
现在说这个没事儿，跟你讲。刚才你也看到了，就是游戏内很多飞机是 Asobo 和微软和这些飞机制造商是合作出来的。比如我记得那个 CJ4 是合作的，X-Cub 是合作的 ，Peace 好像也是合作的。这些合作飞机是不可能有损坏系统。然后既然有东西不可能损坏，那么直接就做成游戏的一个规则了，不直接全部不能损坏。
All right. Okay, lots of questions here. We kind of already did this, but can we confirm PMDG planes are coming to Xbox?
Yeah.
明天晚上，明天的这个时候应该就已经能更新上了，但我估计还玩不上，因为更新会很大，我估计得几十个 G。
Right. All right. Can we address the brightness in the sim? Sometimes it's too bright in the night and in the day. Is there something we could do with contrast, especially in VR?
现在不能调亮度。
There was some talk about a brightness slider at some point. I think we haven't looked at it. So this is a
调整亮度的这个问题目前还没有定论，是这个结果。
Okay, thank you very much. Next question.
但我觉得他们要是真想做的话，应该不会太难。
Move on to the next. All right, this one from the forums. Are there any server-side changes made between updates?
Yes, we do. So we do updates.
服务器端的升级。
Everything regarding data. So we can change the way the weather gets distributed.
天气是通过服务器端拿的，废话这是。
For instance, and we can also change everything which is brought by packages. So everything but the executable. Sometimes we've got some
说的这些就是只要你接触过软件开发，这个问题你就知道了。这个问题没有任何可以隐瞒的，就是所有接口都是他们自己可以随时更新，就这么个事。
So yes, we do update stuff.
只不过很多玩家不知道而已，
Okay.
所以问了一嘴。
I don't know how often it is, but would there ever be a chance to see any of those changes? Sometimes people call it magic when they see something minor fixed.
对，现在服务器端升级是没有公告的，所以要说一下。
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, Jane, this is between you and Laurent, just to talk about it. You put there's no secrets here, right? We update things when it's.
头儿都说了，以后可能会公告。
28 days, as far as I know, for instance. And we are not doing that communication all the time. Same for every single data we're collecting.
All right, I see a question here. Are you planning on any updates to the view system so we can make our own views easily?
啊，视角，现在自定义视角有点麻烦，问的这个问题。
I think it's well. It's also a question that comes with multi-screen, because on multi-screens you have to define different camera point of views. So I was talking about FOV. It's not the only film that has to be redesigned for this. So yes, we are talking about changing the way of doing that. Also,
这个问题只能说是官方正在调查该怎么改，他们知道有这个问题了。
So it's the multi-screens embrace this kind of problematics too.
That also made me think of another
做过
question
那
for
个
later.
自定义视角的，应该都知道，这现在有点麻烦，不是不能做，而是很麻烦。
Obviously, is on dev mode. Will Xbox users be able to use this, or is that going to come in a later version?
So for now, not on Xbox, especially because for plenty of reasons, and the one of the hard drive is something which is more complicated on a console, because it's a little bit more what would I say, locked. So for now, if the fact that we are exporting some files,
你要是知道怎么改就还好。
on a PC,
你看我的视频里有几个视角自定义的嘛，你要知道怎么改的话，你就改出来。
that's why for the
只不过一是这个有个门槛的，因为它是说这么好改，是能改，只不过不好改。
There's also a problem of memory, because by doing that, it's consumed a lot of memory. So, yeah, it's
现在说那个录像，现在录像不是在那个开放模式里嘛，然后但是 Xbox 用不了，就这么个事。
Understood. Next question I have here is, can you make the timing part from Reno part of the SDK in the future, so they can have a way to include timing planes through gates
这个以前说过，
for their sceneries?
李诺竞赛的一些系统会放到 SDK 里，
we make a big update, ultimately that
这以前说过的事。
is the plan.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're doing it. Not sure exactly when.
只不过现在还没放，但也不知道什么时候会放，反正会放。
But I lost it. Oh no. Question: Can you expand the bug list? The bug list is, well, 1 page. Wish list is 2 pages right now. I could probably answer that on the forum side. You know, even though we have a snapshot in the dev update, we've started to implement a bunch of tags on the forums whenever we log feedback or tag something as a bug. So you can always look at that if it's not in the main feedback snapshot. We try to keep that up to date. Bass Pilot says, what time will Sim Update 7 be available tomorrow?
8 a.m.
8 a.m. Pacific
明天的更新
time
是
is what they're shooting for.
I think all 3 things are coming out at that point.
早晨8点，哪个时区啊？
5 p.m. European time.
Hmm?
5 p.m. European time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
早8点应该是太平洋时间。
And this is a
咱们
different
这儿
mouse
应该
issue
是
that, since the update 5, the mouse
几点
has
了？
been freezing on
应该都快半夜
Xbox.
了。
Wondering if there's a status on this bug.
Yeah, but I don't have in. I don't really know if it has been fixed or not for Sim Update 7. Same as for the previous bug we talked about with inputs. I'm hoping it is. I can't be 100% sure because I can't know everything by heart. But I think it is. I'm very sorry.
Does Sim8 Update 7 fix any common CTD issues that we've been seeing? Do we know? Do you have a look?
你说你们问问题不都好点儿？直接问会不会下次更新会不会修正
From memory, it was 3.
常见的闪退？你这让人怎么答？
I think there's a few fixes.
这没法答的呀。
Not all, but a few common CTDs are saying. Yeah.
I think the update is
这么说吧，这个其实
17.3
接触软件开发的应该大家都知道，
18
没接触的话，
Xbox.
当然这个问题你要是没接触，很容易问出来。
Okay.
但基本意思就是这些闪退都是个案，
Have we
得一个一个去
considered
查，
in-game
特别扯淡的
lift
这样。
like what Forza does? So
咱不是说不改，而是得一个一个查。
deliveries.
That's the right way to ask it. Yes, we've considered it. it's one of those things. Yep, there's lots of things we would like to do like that. It just needs to be prioritized. And right now it's not, but we want to.
When is the largest Sim update so far? Do we know which one it was? 5.
7, 5.
现在哪次系统更新最大呢？当然是系统更新5了，还用说吗？
Largest in size or in?
I'm
In changes,
thinking gigs. That's what I
I
assume.
don't know. I don't know, but if we're talking about number of changes, like
Yeah.
the change list, it was definitely fine.
Okay. I mean, the change list from 6 was huge too. I love to see that.
Well, yeah, it's always huge. It may be too big. It's another conversation to
Yeah.
get.
I am seeing a lot. Give us details on seasons. What are we working on for seasons?
啊，对，现在4季现在是比缺失的。
So it's a big bug. Not bug. A big project. Like this is, and it's I mean,
工作量
I think we said that
工作量
before,
很大
half-ass anything. So once we do it, we actually do it right. We just this morning, for example, talked about biomes
但是
because it's not.
看这个答案来说，应该是目前还没有
Like
计划。
seasons they need to operate on the right things. Like for example, the right trees. And there's there's just lots of work. So that's why we said this is going to take longer, but we're going to do it.
When will the weekly challenges come back? They want the Steam achievement.
每周挑战，以前有这玩意儿吗？
We would like to, yes. I can't, I won't never talk about dates.
问的问题是每周挑战什么时候回来？每周挑战是啥？
I've seen also very important questions. It was between Seb Jorg and me who was winning the most races in Reno. So I would just say that I used to, I'm winning some races. and I can't tell for Yorgos' version.
That's great.
My money was on David. I'm very surprised. We need to
Okay.
take this offline.
But David, well, okay. There's no competition. But he was not listed in the question.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
A good question. Can any of you tell us about the new eye tracking software coming tomorrow in this update, which is Tobii eye tracking?
眼球追踪的问题，
So
之前真没说过这个事儿。
Basically, we want to mimic the same kind of behavior that you will get with a track hire. So it helps us to manipulate the camera with just moving the eyes.
用眼球去调整视角。
Thoughts about going further into the exploration of eye tracking, especially for what we call G4, which is for everyone. So we had to spend some time on that to have a more in-depth implementation of tracking the eyes for manipulating the UI, but it will take some time.
Right, yeah, that's true. But the initial implementation's there tomorrow.
Yes.
I think a lot of people are excited about that. So thank you. That was a big community request. Yes, we have a quite good question here. Can you talk again about the weather improvements that are coming tomorrow?
你看这个问题来了，明天的
Okay, so
天气会怎么改？
who wants to start?
I can give an example. Is that this week there was fog in Arcachon in the real world, because I can just look outside and see if there's fog over there, and there was actually fog in the sim. The view distance was correct, and you could fly out of the fog layer, and it was working. So
直接举这个例子，这个
there's been
雾天的能见度调好了。
that we get. The data provider has made improvements, and we've made improvements in the sim to ingest the data. Now I think.
然后这之前提到的，天气数据提供商会变得更多。
But I think one of the big changes is that if you have a meta, it should be much closer in the sim now than it used to be, including visibility and stuff like that. But I think it's the big difference is that also it's new data and more accurate data than before. And so I think depending on the weather in the world, it can create hopefully more diverse weather and more interesting weather, maybe in some cases. It may also add new bugs because, well, new data, new system. And I think there's maybe something I think we already said in the it's going to come in the build notes. There's some small glitches, but mostly much better and much better for people who use Meta. But I mean, just flying around, I also saw things I've never seen before, so that's also going to be nice.
那就是我视频里的那个，复读了一下。
ATC a little bit. We've already mentioned, next year we're gonna be prioritizing some things here in ATC. But do you already know what your top priorities as far as fixes or updates to ATC are?
No, it's what I said earlier. Like I think we're quite aware of what the issues are, and we now need to go plan. Like we really like for us here.
大体空管明年会修正，但是现在是没有具体计划。
Yes, but
I don't want to make up stuff. We don't have a crisp priority list yet, but we have. As I said, I actually appreciated Kai's email this morning because it's helpful.
So just to let you know, in episode 7, we've got also a few fixes about ATC, so it won't cover everything. But we figure out that the copilot was sometimes changing the ATC parameters without us noticing it. So that was causing some logic issues. So this part is fixed, and we also fixed, well, it's not really ATC, but it's related to ATC on the ATs. We fixed the cloud messages. We had some issues with the weather announcement by ATs. So it should be much better now.
Okay, cool. It's good to know. A question, hey Jorg, will the F-18 launch with any liveries?
No, I saw that a few times, and terribly. I don't know the answer to this. Like I should know, but I don't. Marcel, have you looked at it more closely?
Sorry, I missed the question.
On the FA18.
So yes, we've got some deliveries.
And I don't know how many.
超级大黄蜂会带涂装，但不知道多少个。
Some of the famous formations, and that turned out not possible. They told me, which is a big.
但这问题明儿就知道了，现在问没啥意义。
Yeah, I can tell you honest.
We'll find out how many tomorrow.
Yes.
Can
Just
we,
to keep the surprise.
Can we expect to see any more improvements to night lighting in Sim Update 7?
夜灯不是改过了吗？还改？
Yes, there's been an update. The sepia long distance draw method has been
夜灯光的
away,
距离还要拉远的意思。
because of the basically improved night lighting from close up. So it should be twice less visible than before. I think instead of being fully present,
夜间灯光会渲染距离会缩短，只是这么说，以前的太远了，是吧？
That's tomorrow with some of this. So I think people will not.
Yeah.
It's not gone. So if you zoom a lot, you will still see it, but it's another step forward in that update.
Yeah. From Dr. Photon, is Hans working on the ATR now that the PC6 has been released?
So Hans is a busy man. He's currently finishing the Twin Otter, as far as I know, because I just saw it, which is going to be cool. But he's doing that plane for Airsoft, and the Sovo team has been working on the ATRs.
ATR 这个问题
as far as model and some of the other things.
ATR
Hans has been
4-5个月前说要做，到现在还没做完呢。
CRJ 900,000 update. I know he's working on the Xbox version for that. Twin Otter, I was actually hoping they would get this done earlier. There was at some point.
Twin Otter 也还没做完吗？
Like it just takes time, right? And then right after that, he's going to go full time onto the ATRs.
Awesome. On that note, do we have an update on the Antonov?
刚才说是2个飞机的问题，一个是 ATR， 一个是 Twin Otter， 都是之前公布官方会做的，结果现在还没做完。现在说是 AN2 是上个月公布的，会有。
I mean, I have so many emails in Russian, like literally Russian and English right next to each other, but I think it's very, very close. It takes.
但 AN2 会先做完的，这意思是吧？
Well, we wish you luck and that you get that soon. That's going to be great. Once we do.
The plane's looking great. I mean, it's coming up.
Glad to hear it. Does the Australia World Update coming now include New Zealand?
No.
哈，澳大利亚世界更新只有澳大利亚，没有新西兰。
Interesting. Make your own conclusions. Any plans for a more advanced and full-featured marketplace, perhaps also accessible from a browser?
Yes.
So
Sim Update 8 is going to have some marketplace enhancements, but that's what we're planning. How about this?
市场会更新，目标是在系统更新第8弹里面。
Marketplace 2.0, as we call it internally, which has some cool. It's better. The browser thing is actually something I really wanted because that's honestly how I buy stuff. I buy everything on my phone these days, and I think for convenience sake, it would be nice. The only thing that gave me some pause there recently was the xCloud version, because once you have xCloud, and it's going to be fascinating once you get your hands on xCloud. I wonder if we still need a browser-based version for the marketplace. I actually don't think so, but it's coming soon-ish. So we'll have that discussion again. Early next year, yeah.
就是说，在明年2月，市场会大更新一次。
Fellow simmers asking about the memory leak issue with the black avionics screen. If we've made any progress on investigating that.
横店黑屏还没修好吗？这还在问啊？
Kicking it over to you.
Is that on Xbox?
We had the issue it was sometimes on PC too.
Is that on PC memory leak causing blackout That
No,
was right.
we had some blackouts on PC.
I thought
Okay.
memory thing, right? We looked at that.
I think it was memory thing on Xbox.
Mhm.
So the memory has been improved a little bit with the Simulate 7, and we fixed memory leaks as well. I don't know if it's going to be enough so that it never happens again, but I think the frequency should definitely.
房间黑屏如果有遇到的话，多半是跟内存泄露有关系，然后明天会有一定修正。这么个事。
Yeah, so we have done memory optimizations on Simulate 7.
Okay.
And we have fixed memory leaks, but I mean, just one memory leak somewhere could cause this to happen again. So I think the frequency should definitely be lower of that to happen. But I can't guarantee that it's never happening again. So because there could always be a memory leak somewhere with some specific plane, some specific location.
It's the kind of bug which are super complicated to reproduce. Like, when you don't have a repro and 100% turn out to check if it's been fixed at 100%.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Hard to guarantee a fix.
Very true. Thank you. So with Reno coming out tomorrow, there was talks and maybe I think the last Q&A about, after it's out, there might be some updates to it in the future. Is there anything you can tell us now about future updates to Reno?
问是李诺的后续更新计划是什么？
I mean, I say what is probably in my head. There's a discussion about private match.
首先是私人房间，明天的版本里没有私人房间，这肯定会要先做的。
Honestly, there's probably 10 pilots that wrote me emails since we talked last time and said, "Hey, I want my plane to be in Reno too."
Aha.
Okay, cool. So there might be something.
有10多个人
Why not?
直接联系微软说我要把我的飞机加进来。
And some people have asked, "Hey, so is this an esport?" I'm like, you don't design an esport. People opt into an esport. So if there's tons of people playing Reno and they want to have, more tournaments.
还有人问这是不是电竞 ？York 的说法就很直接了，它只要是竞技，它只要有竞技环境，只要有人玩就是电竞。
I think it's cool. I think it's super fun. I think it's
意思就是
it's not a.
开发团队这边不会去主动的去做这些比赛什么的，全靠玩家自己。
But it's totally not. And you literally fight for like every meter hard.
Yeah.
And so it has potential, but we'll see. You guys will decide. Actually.
That's true. Very true. Here's a bug question. So when you create a flight plan, it makes these two parameters, time climb and time approach waypoints for VFR flights. Do we know if we're working on that bug, if we're going to fix that so we can remove those from our VFR flight plans in the future?
Please repeat because I haven't understood clearly.
Sure. In VFR flight plans, when you create a plan, it includes a time climb and time approach waypoint. And we're hoping we can get rid of those in the future as it usually kind of messes up.
现在在世界地图上做飞行计划的时候，如果是 VFR 计划，现在是有路径点的，但是真正飞 VFR 的话是不需要那些东西的。
Okay.
那意思是官方还没计划去改这个问题。
We'll take probably 2 more questions here. Looking in chat to see which ones.
但我的看法是，那个问题如果你知道，应该影响不会太大，你可以无视掉。
Online jittering, jumping forward and back. So in Simulate 7, and this was really done for Reno because there's a lot more close flying. There's been a lot of improvements in the online representation of the planes, accuracy. And I think
现在说的是这个在线模式飞其他玩家飞机的位置会，明天之后会更准确，因为毕竟要有理论这个东西在，你不准确不行。
Ping a lag that is sometimes big, sometimes small, sometimes big, sometimes small. It may be a little bit more jittery, but I think it's going to be a lot better than what we had in the past. It may also fix some of the bug fixes. Some of the bugs may have caused planes disappearing, but it's not all the bugs Marcel has talked earlier, right? There was other sorting issues and other issues, but sometimes planes were also disappearing because of a bad trajectory, and this is a lot better. So I think, I mean, I've done quite a lot of tests in formation flying with the 787. Really, even when pulling a lot of cheese, it's maybe a photo away sometimes, and it's much better than before. It's not perfect yet. I don't know if you can even get it perfect over online, right? Because well, there's data you have to predict, and sometimes the predictions are wrong. But now it's much more accurate than it used to be. So I think people who are doing
这个说法就是，如果你玩过格斗游戏，应该是听说过 rollback 这个东西。
are going to see definitely improvements there.
它这个多人模式用的就是 rollback。
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Seb. Just a reminder to the community right after we close out this Q&A, give me a couple moments and we will get the feature discovery episode 11 out on Reno Air Races, so you can learn a lot more about what went into it.
应该再过几个小时会有李诺的官方预告片会出来。
Is there anything anyone else wants to add before we close out?
直播就要结束了。
This is a great. I mean, the game of the year thing is it's what you made it.
我先看看今天有什么比较重要的东西。
Game of the year edition that's sort of hopefully fun for the upcoming holidays, and then the next 2 years are going to be crazy, chock full of stuff. Like I think we just talked about World Update 18.
Wow.
Masana was just doing some long-term planning, and it's cool. It's cool, and it's really fun to think about where we're going to be in the years to come. It's going to be amazing. There's so much cool stuff ahead. So thank you again for everything.
Maybe you can give numbers. We were talking about the 27 updates.
Yeah, we
had this conversation.
We talked about the next 43 updates. Marcel's hair got a little bit more gray. Like, what?
If you can get more gray, I don't know.
Goes to show that we're definitely in this for the long haul for 40-something updates minimum. I love it. Thank you all so much in chat. Thank you so much. If we missed any questions, we're going to be taking a look at the whole chat later on. We'll see if we can answer more in the forums. But thank you for tuning in and for asking all your questions. And thank you, Jorg, Seb, Marcel, for answering to the best of your abilities. And we really appreciate everything you do in the sim. And tomorrow, very excited. Go download the update. Go get Reno if you'd like. We're really looking forward to your feedback. It's going to be a great day for everybody. So enjoy the update, and we will see you next time. Have a great holiday.
Holidays, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Kyle.
官方直播结束了，先来个